Greetings, fellow Hoovians. Hoovian Queen here. Hope you're all doing well despite everything that's been going on lately here in the US and around the world. Well, our look at the 10th Doctor era now continues on with Last of the Time Lords. So, let's take a look at it. A year after the Toclafane attacked Earth and the Master took over the planet, humanity is on the verge of extinction. After her escape from the Valiant, Martha has been traveling around the world and avoiding detection. She has been preparing the surviving humans to concentrate their thoughts on the word Doctor, the moment of the completion of the countdown to the launch of a fleet of rockets the Master is ready to wage war. The 10th Doctor, meanwhile, has been spending a year psychically integrating himself into the Master's Archangel network of satellites, which channels the collective psychic energy of the people to the Doctor. Martha creates a cover story about finding 4 components to a gun the Master is vulnerable to as part of a plan to have Professor Dougherty lead Martha back to the Master. Interesting. Martha, together with Dougherty and medic Thomas Milligan, capture Toclafane. Upon examination, they discover the Toclafane are humans who took their rocket to Utopia in the future. They cannibalized their bodies into metal spheres and their minds regressed into children. The Master created the Paradox Machine to allow them to return to the past and kill their ancestors while avoiding the Grandfather Paradox. That's a pretty smart plan there if you think about it. Martha and Thomas leave to find the last component of the gun, and Dougherty provides the Master Martha's location in exchange for information on her own son. Traitor! After cornering Martha, the Master destroys the gun and takes her back to the Valiant so he can kill her in front of the artificially aged Doctor. The collective psychic energy of the people thinking of the Doctor rejuvenates him, allowing him to overcome his captivity and force the Master to cower in defeat. Ha! Jack sets off to destroy the Paradox Machine. The destruction of the machine causes time to snap back right before the Toclafane appeared. The Doctor and his allies consider the Master's fate before the Master is shot by his wife Lucy. The Master dies in the Doctor's arms, and the Doctor cremates his body on a funeral pyre. Why didn't he regenerate? Hello? The Doctor returns Jack to Torchwood. Martha decides to leave the Doctor to care for her family, who can still remember their captivity on the Valiant. She gives them her mobile phone in case she needs to contact him. Afterwards, the bow of a ship called the Titanic bursts through a wall of the TARDIS control room. Okay then, that's a little bit weird, but yeah. So anyway, let's take a look at some continuity surrounding this episode. In the episode's commentary, writer Russell T Davies called the implication of Jack's nickname, the Face of Bo, a theory as to the Face of Bo's origins, prompting executive producer Julie Gardner to urge him to stop backpedaling about the two characters being the same. Davies then mentioned the addition of a line in Gridlock in which the Face of Bo calls the Doctor an old friend, suggesting a strong connection between him and the Doctor. Davies also jokingly termed the hand seen removing the Master's ring from the ashes of his funeral pyre the hand of the Ronnie. The hand picking up the Master's ring was included in order to leave open the possibility of reintroducing the character at a later date. In part 1 of The End of Time, the hand was revealed to be that one of Miss Trefusis, a disciple of Harold Saxon. The Master makes reference to the Sea Devils, which the Third Doctor and the Master encountered together in the 1972 serial The Sea Devils, and the Axons, which they met in 1971's The Claws of Axos. Earth is referred to as Sol 3, the third planet from the star Sol, as it was in The Deadly Assassin. The Master's laser screwdriver is said to have isomorphic controls, a property of the Doctor attributed to the TARDIS controls in Pyramids of Mars. Clips from Smith & Jones' Utopia and The Sound of Drums are used in this episode. Martha mentions that both UNIT and Torchwood have been studying Time Lords for several decades. Torchwood was set up in tooth and claw for the specific purpose of tracking the Doctor, while the Doctor worked for UNIT in the mid-20th century. During the Doctor's tenure with UNIT, a full season of stories revolved around the Master, ending his capture by UNIT in the Daemons. The 2007 Children Need mini-episode Time Crash takes place within the last few minutes of this episode. Sorry, I meant minutes, not seconds. The story Martha, a new series novel, chronicles the journey and tales of Martha Jones during her year on Earth. In the series 4 episode The Centauran Stratagem, Martha's engaged to Thomas Milligan, the pediatrician she travels with during this episode. However, by the end of time, she's instead married Mickey Smith. Wonder what made her do that. Now let's take a look at some outside references here. The Master refers to the aged version of the Doctor as Gandalf from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Whilst attempting to mend a television to pick up the broadcast from the Master, Professor Dougherty remarks on the fondness for Countdown and states that it's never been the same since Des took over. Both Des's. Referring to Des Leenham and Des O'Connor's hosting of the show after the death of Richard Whiteley in 2005. While working on a troublesome computer to access the data from when the Tocklefane struck down by lightning, Professor Dougherty says, "Who would have thought that we would miss Bill Gates?" Wow. Now let's take a look at some production and publicity surrounding this episode. Last of the Time Lords, along with Utopia and the Sound of Drums, are treated in several sources as a three-part story, the first such story in the revived series of Doctor Who. However, Russell T Davies said that he regards Utopia as a separate story, but notes that the determination is arbitrary. Last of the Time Lords was a subtitle proposed at one stage for a film version of Doctor Who that was in development from 1987 to 1994. The episode was planned to be broadcast live to the crowds, attending in Pride London in Trafalgar Square via giant screen. However, a local curfew after the nearby attempted terrorist bombing the previous day prevented the screening. Freema Agyeman and John Barrowman attended the event. In order to keep the episode's details secret, access to preview copies of this episode was restricted. There was a similar moratorium on copies of Doomsday the previous year and on the series 4 finale, Journey's End, the following year. The episode was allocated a 50-minute time slot for its initial broadcast, as with Daleks in Manhattan previously, and 55-minute time slots for the BBC 3 repeats. According to Russell T Davies in Doctor Who Magazine 384, this is because it ran over length, but they did not wish to lose the material. The final episode of The Trial of a Time Lord was also extended by 5 minutes in 1986. In the audio commentary, the producers revealed that Graham Harper filled in to direct some scenes after director Colin Teague was injured. At the start of this episode, the Master enters the bridge of the Valiant as I Can't Decide by the Scissors Sisters plays in the background. He refers to it as Track 3. It's based on the Scissors Sisters' second album, Ta-Da. 2 sets of audio commentaries were recorded for the episode, one with producers Russell T Davies, Julie Gardner, and Phil Collinson, which was intended for a podcast broadcast to coincide with the episode's initial UK telecast, another featuring actors David Tennant, Freema Agyeman, and John Barrowman, which was included on the UK DVD release as part of the Series 3 box set. However, the Region 1, North America release of the DVD actor saw the actor commentary replaced by the earlier podcast version, although production error resulted in the set's booklet not indicating this substitution, and the booklet also omits Tennant's name. This episode marked the last regular episode use of the Doctor Who theme music arrangement by Murray Gold that had been introduced in 2005 and used, notwithstanding minor modifications and an extension of the closing theme in 2006, thereafter. The opening theme would be heard once more in its 2005 arrangement in the Time Crash short episode, before opening and closing themes would be revised, beginning with The Voyage of the Damned and continuing into Series 4 in 2008. And now finally, on to some cast notes. Reggie Yates is credited as playing Leo Jones. However, the character Leo only appears in this episode as background. The audio commentary for the episode mentions that Leo was originally scheduled to appear in the sequence showing Martha's return to Britain, but Yates was double booked. Zoe Thorne, one of the Tocklefane voices, also voiced the Gelth in The Unquiet Dead. Uncredited as the hand that picks up the Master's ring was production manager Tracy Simpson. So overall, as the final episode of Series 3, it's actually not bad, and it does wrap things up in a nice little bow. So, yeah. So overall, I give Last of the Time Lords 4 sonic screwdrivers out of 5. Well, tune in next week as we take a look at the Time Crash mini-episode. Well, hope you enjoyed that review. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it around, Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell icon to be notified about when I upload videos. And if you help me make better videos, then be sure to check out my Patreon page. Link is in the description. So, until then, this is Hooving Queen saying, "Oh my giddy aunt! When I say run, run! I'm Professor Polarity of the Neutron Flow. Would you like a jelly baby? Fantastic! Allons-y! Geronimo!" Bow ties are cool, fezzes are cool, and Stetsons are cool.